gang, it's John from Bill and Paul's with another version of What's Blank Wednesday, and today it's What's Nordic Skiing Wednesday. Nordic skiing is also called cross-country skiing, and here in West Michigan, when the snow arrives, we have abundance of trails, easy access from the city to come on out and play. We're still in Kent County. We're out at Pickerel Lake on the northeast corner of the county. Amazing trail system out here, and but before we do that, we thought we'd introduce you a little bit to the sport of cross-country skiing, some of the equipment, and maybe how you might go about learning what you might need if you're interested in joining this activity or upgrading this activity. So what I've got in front of me is what we call skinny skis, cross-country ski, and your heels are not locked down. You're connected with a relatively easy to wear boot that is soft and comfortable, and you head out on these trails, and it's almost like walking in the woods, where you've got a little extra efficiency and glide. So it's a fun sport. You don't have to have a lot of athletic ability, and it's also affordable. This is not a very expensive sport to get into, and once you own this stuff, it's going to last for quite a while. So when picking out skis, you're going to come to the wall, and they're going to have a variety of different styles there for you. But in general, skis have gotten quite a bit shorter. So this is 186 centimeter, and for those of you who remember long skinny skis, this is as tall as it gets for a guy my weight. I'm about 180 pounds. And that's what you buy a ski on, is your weight, not your height, not your ability, but how much you weigh. And that's because cross-country skis are built like a bridge, and our weight compresses that bridge down into the snow, where in most cases scales, or in some of the newer skis, fur strips actually will bite into that snow, causing that ski to grip and propel you forward. In a technique called kick and glide, which I will demonstrate in just a moment, the front and back of the ski are shiny and black and slidey, and so when you unweight that ski, you're going to glide forward, you're going to compress your bridge down, get those scales to bite, and you're going to kind of propel yourself across the snow. Different styles of skis. This is a great recreational, lightweight, affordable ski with a binding. Runs about $300. You can find skis with metal edges. You can find skis that are wider, some that are skinnier. And then there's a category that we're not going to show today called skate skis, and they do something completely different. You have to go and use those at a groomed trail, which you'll tend to find up north at places like Crystal Mountain or other areas that offer just amazing Nordic skiing. For those of you who don't downhill ski, our northern Michigan ski areas have a whole nother side of the sport, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, so they're great places to go and visit even if you're not a downhill skier because of the amenities. So take a trip if you want out of the area, and a lot of times you're going to have to go north to find snow. This has not been a great snow year, but we have snow today, so we're going to go out and show you guys a little bit about how this works. The only other piece of equipment that you're going to want to use is a set of cross-country ski poles. And these you buy at a length that fit underneath your armpit, so that when it's next to your foot, it raises your shoulder up but doesn't throw you over. And you want these a little bit long because, as we talked about that glide, you need something that's going to propel you forward. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to do another tip. When putting your ski poles on, put your hand in under the strap and through, and bring your hand down to create a cradle, so that when you use your poles, you don't have to squeeze the handle and your fingers will get cold. You want to be able to put pressure through that pole just by the little handle that you've created with the strap. So tip for the day. So the first tip is to not wear your ski socks to the trail, gang. We just got done running a bunch of errands, and even though these are nice wool socks, they're a little damp. So before you get started, put your dry socks on. I like to actually wear a pair of my downhill ski socks because they come up a little bit taller on my leg. And I'm going to start the day with warm, dry feet and let them get a little chilly as I ski. Tip. These are called no-wax skis, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, but that doesn't mean that they don't need some attention or some wax on the bottom of them. This pair of skis I'm about to use is all chalky and white, which means it's not going to slide very well. Tip. Be bold, and start cold. And what does that mean? Well, it's 15 degrees today. It's actually really cold here in West Michigan. So as I'm prepping, I've got my big heavy puffy jacket on, staying warm. But we're about to take off and do a high aerobic activity. So I'm gonna leave my puffy in the car, and I'm gonna go down to a light base layer, a little bit of a mid layer, and just this shell, because I know in about 5 minutes I'm gonna be quite warm. It'll be a short period of time where you're a little bit chilly. That's okay, because you warm up quickly. This is a pretty active activity. That's why we like to do it. And you won't be sweating and cold when you're taking your breaks out there. All right, so here we are at the trailhead, and the first thing I'm looking at is there is plenty of snow. If you don't have good coverage and the ground is exposed, don't go skiing. It's bad on your bases. It tears up the scales that we talked about. So you want to make sure there's enough snow, otherwise just walk those trails. But today it is glorious out here, and Mo and I were just talking about how fortunate we are to be able to come out and shoot this with some sunshine in our backs and the rest of it. So I've got to connect myself to the ski. These are step-in bindings. Take my toe, find that little groove, step down, and now I am locked into my ski. On the bottom of my boot, there's some grooves. Those grooves match the channels of the bindings, so that when I go to move, I can put some pressure against those, and I've got some control of my skis. So that's getting in and out of your skis. I've got that nice glide wax on that we put on earlier today. Things seem to be lining up for us. We're going to go out and have a really nice time. So what am I going to do to start? If you have never skied before, you're going to do what we tend to call the weekend shuffle, and that is simply just start moving forward. Try to keep your balance and get comfortable walking around on your skis. Your hands are going to be forward and ahead of you. After a period of time, your fingers are probably going to get cold because you're not dropping them down below your heart. So eventually, you're going to want to change that technique a little bit and get into what we call kicking and gliding, where we're going to have those scales bite, we're going to slide forward. It might look a little weird, but sometimes you might just want to stay right by the parking lot and get comfortable before you go. As I mentioned before, be bold and start cold. So just that little bit there with this big warm heavy jacket on, and I'm quite warm, so I'm going to get down to my Nordic garb. Tip, trail etiquette. It makes my heart feel so good to come out here and see respect for cross-country ski trails. They've left the walkers, the dog walkers, and the snowshoers have created a second trail apart from the skinny ski trail. This means so much when you're cross-country skiing. You really like to have these two grooves. So when you go to a park and there's a nice trail set and then somebody walks across it with a set of snowshoes or their feet or whatever, it kind of messes it up. So whenever possible, please stay off the cross-country ski trails and provide a nice walking path like happens here at Pickerel Lake. Thanks, gang. Hey, Mo.
Hey.
Man, I wish you could have gone on that trip with me. It is beautiful out here.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're pretty close to the Honey Creek Inn over in Cannesburg. Maybe we'll slip over there for a little snack that we've earned coming out for the afternoon and enjoying some just classic Michigan winter activity of cross-country skiing. For those of you watching today, thanks so much, and we will see you next week for another What's Blank Wednesday.